So the Lakers just got Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith is such an exciting addition to the Lakers. First off, let's talk about what he's been doing this season. The guy's averaging 10.4 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 1.6 assists per game. But what really jumps out is his shooting. He's hitting a career-high 43.5% from three-point range and knocking down 2.4 triples per game. Oh, and get this, he's ranked third among the best above the break three-point shooters in the league, hitting an insane 49% in that category. That kind of shooting, it's exactly what the Lakers need to space the floor. Finney-Smith also brings toughness and defense that the Lakers have been craving. He's the kind of guy who brings stability on both ends of the court, something that's been missing from the Lakers' role players. And it's not just about stats with him, it's his energy. He's a high motor player who's known for making winning plays, the type that doesn't always show up in the box score, but makes a huge difference in tight games. He was a defensive anchor in Brooklyn and a big part of building a gritty culture there. The Nets even declined multiple first-round picks for him last season, so landing him for second-round picks now feels like a steal. Now picture Finney-Smith playing alongside LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves. LeBron is one of the best passers in NBA history, and Reeves has been showing some serious growth as a facilitator, including that crazy 16-assist performance the other night. They're going to give Finney-Smith the kind of open looks he just wasn't getting in Brooklyn. With his reliable shooting, he's going to thrive playing off those guys. What's even better is how Finney-Smith fits the Lakers' current roster construction. He's a prototypical 3-and-D player. Even if that term gets thrown around too much these days, the Lakers already have guys like Rui, Max Christie, and Austin Reeves who can light it up from deep. But adding Finney-Smith to that mix takes their shooting to another level. Combine that with two superstars like LeBron and AD, and it's hard to find a reason this team shouldn't be a serious contender. Another underrated aspect of this move, Finney-Smith's veteran presence. He's been around the league long enough to understand his role and excel in it. He's not going to try to do too much, but he's also not going to shy away from the big moments. And his defense, oh man, that defense is going to be critical, especially in a playoff series where every possession matters. His ability to guard multiple positions makes him invaluable against teams with elite perimeter players. And let's not ignore what this trade says about the Lakers' confidence in Austin Reeves. Moving D'Angelo Russell in this deal shows they believe Reeves can handle more responsibility as a playmaker. He's already shown he can create for others, and having another shooter like Finney-Smith will only make his job easier. Reeves has been one of the Lakers' most consistent players this season, and this move feels like a vote of confidence in his growth. The Lakers are also in a better spot financially after this trade. Being $3.5 million under the second apron gives them some breathing room for future deals. That flexibility might not seem like a big deal now, but it could be crucial as the season progresses and they look to tweak the roster further. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, the trade. Looking ahead, the potential of this roster is just off the charts. Finney-Smith alongside LeBron, AD, and Reeves gives the Lakers a blend of defense, shooting, and versatility that's hard to match. They can go big, they can go small, and they can match up with just about any team in the league. And with LeBron still playing at an elite level and AD being a dominant force on both ends, the addition of a reliable two-way player like Finney-Smith makes this team even scarier. In terms of chemistry, Finney-Smith seems like the perfect fit. He's a team-first guy who knows how to fill in the gaps. LeBron and Coach JJ will absolutely love his energy and effort. And for a team that's been criticized in the past for lacking consistency from its role players, Finney-Smith brings exactly what they've been missing. This trade also highlights how important it is to maximize value in the NBA. The Nets turned down first-round picks for Finney-Smith last season, only to move him now for second-rounders. It feels like a fumble on their end. But for the Lakers, it's a major win. They capitalized on the opportunity to grab a high-quality player without giving up too much. With this move, the Lakers have no excuses left. Their roster looks solid, and they've added the kind of player who can help them compete for a championship. Nothing's ever perfect, but this team has the pieces to beat anyone on any given night. Finney-Smith is the kind of glue guy who can elevate them to another level, especially when the games matter most. Adding Finney-Smith also shows that the Lakers front office is all in on building a team around their core stars. They've addressed one of their biggest needs, defense and consistent shooting from the perimeter, while also improving their overall depth. That kind of balance is going to be crucial in the playoffs, where every weakness gets exposed. It's crazy to think about how much potential this roster has now. With Finney-Smith in the mix, the Lakers can run lineups that are versatile, athletic, and lethal from beyond the arc. And with his ability to defend at a high level, they'll be able to match up with the league's best offensive players. Finney-Smith might not be a superstar, but he's exactly the kind of role player championship teams need. The Lakers have made their move, and it's a good one. Finney-Smith is a perfect fit for this team, and it's going to be exciting to see how he thrives alongside LeBron, AD, and Reeves. This trade gives the Lakers everything they need to compete at the highest level, and it's going to be a lot of fun watching them put it all together. But when you look at Finney-Smith's advanced numbers, you see the player he really is. When you look at Finney-Smith's advanced stats this season, you can see exactly why he's such an appealing addition. His player efficiency rating is 12.4, which might not jump off the page, but that stat doesn't always capture the full value of a player like him. PAR tends to favor high usage players, and Finney-Smith thrives as a complementary piece. That's what makes him so perfect for this Lakers squad. Now let's break down some of those percentages. He's ranked 39th in offensive rebounding percentage, which is huge for a forward who spends a lot of time on the perimeter. That means he's hustling and finding opportunities to extend possessions, something the Lakers can always use more of. His defensive rebounding percentage is ranked 105th, which isn't elite, but it's solid for someone whose primary role isn't cleaning the glass. And his total rebounding percentage sits at 9.3%. Not flashy, but effective for his role. Finney-Smith also adds value with his playmaking. Even if he's not a traditional facilitator, his assist percentage is 8.1, which might seem modest, but for a player who's often stationed as a spot-up shooter or secondary option, it shows he's capable of making the right passes when needed. It's those little things that add up over the course of a game and make a big difference. Defensively, he's got some really interesting numbers. His block percentage ranks 66th in the league, which is pretty impressive for a forward who isn't a rim protector by trade. His steal percentage is 105th, not elite, but respectable, and it reflects his ability to disrupt passing lanes and create turnovers. These stats back up what the eye test already tells us. Finney-Smith is a versatile defender who can guard multiple positions and bring consistent effort every night. When it comes to win shares, Finney-Smith's numbers are intriguing. His offensive win shares rank 138, while his win shares per 48 minutes are 109. These aren't superstar numbers, but they show he contributes positively to winning basketball, which is exactly what the Lakers need from their role players. One of my favorite stats to look at is box plus minus, and Finney-Smith is no slouch there either. His offensive BPM ranks 96th, while his overall BPM sits at 100. Again, not jaw-dropping, but it's a clear indication that he's a positive contributor on both ends of the floor. And let's not forget, these numbers come from a Brooklyn team where his role was very different. Playing next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis is going to elevate his game even further. Now picture this, Finney-Smith's ability to stretch the floor with his shooting, combined with his knack for doing all the dirty work, fits perfectly next to LeBron and AD. LeBron's passing will create so many open looks for Finney-Smith, and AD's presence inside will keep defenses honest, giving Finney-Smith even more space to operate. It's like plugging in the exact type of player they've been missing. But it's not just about what he brings on paper, it's how he fits into the Lakers' overall strategy. Finney-Smith is one of those players who doesn't need the ball in his hands to make an impact. He's content to play his role, and he does it with such efficiency that it elevates the entire team. That's going to be huge for a Lakers squad that already has two dominant stars in LeBron and AD. And here's the thing, Finney-Smith's defensive versatility might be his biggest asset. He can guard wings, forwards, and even some smaller guards when needed. That's the kind of flexibility the Lakers need in a playoff series where matchups can change game to game. Having a guy like Finney-Smith who can seamlessly switch and stay effective is a luxury few teams have. The advanced stats also highlight how well-rounded Finney-Smith is. He might not excel in any one category, but he's solid across the board. That kind of balance makes him an ideal glue guy for a championship contender. He's not going to demand touches or disrupt the flow of the offense, but he's going to make the right plays and give maximum effort on every possession. Another key aspect of this trade is how it positions the Lakers for the future. Adding a player like Finney-Smith shows they're committed to building a roster that complements their stars. His contract is manageable, and his skill set is exactly what you want, alongside LeBron and AD as they try to make another deep playoff run. And let's not forget about the intangibles. Finney-Smith has a reputation as a hard worker and a great teammate. That kind of attitude is contagious and can do wonders for team chemistry. The Lakers have had their ups and downs this season, but bringing in a guy like Finney-Smith can help steady the ship and bring some much-needed consistency. Looking at the big picture, this trade is all about maximizing the Lakers' window of contention. Finney-Smith might not be the flashiest name, but he's the type of player who helps teams win championships. His ability to contribute in so many areas makes him a perfect fit for a team with high aspirations. The Lakers have made a lot of moves over the years, but this one feels different. It's not just about adding talent, it's about adding the right kind of talent. Finney-Smith's advanced numbers show he's a reliable and versatile player, and his fit alongside LeBron and AD makes this trade a home run. It's going to be exciting to see how this all comes together as the season progresses. I want to look at some more of his advanced numbers though, starting with his scoring numbers. Dorian Finney-Smith's scoring efficiency this season has been absolutely fantastic. Let's break it down because his advanced numbers tell an impressive story. Starting with his points per game, he's putting up 10.4, which might not sound like a lot at first, but get this, it's more than 67% of players in the league. That's a solid number for someone who isn't a high usage scorer, but thrives in his role as a complementary piece. Now, the real magic is in his shooting efficiency. Finney-Smith's effective field goal percentage, EFG%, is an outstanding 60.7%. That number places him ahead of more than 82% of players in the league. Effective field goal percentage accounts for the added value of three-pointers, which is a big part of his game. He's making 1.2 points per field goal attempt, which is incredibly efficient and exactly what you want from a player who's often catching and shooting or finishing plays. Off ball, let's dive into his true shooting percentage, TS%. This stat goes even further than effective field goal percentage because it factors in free throws. Finney-Smith's TS% sits at 61.2%, putting him above 77% of players. That's elite territory for a player in his role. It shows he's not just taking smart shots, he's converting them at a highly efficient rate. On a per attempt basis, he's averaging 1.2 points every time he looks to score, whether it's from the field or the free throw line. Breaking it down even further, his scoring attempts are incredibly balanced. He's averaging 8 field goal attempts per game, with 1.3 coming from 2-point range and 2.4 from beyond the arc. Those 3-point makes are a big deal because they add so much value to his overall scoring. The fact that he's converting them so efficiently shows how well he understands his role and executes it to perfection. This level of efficiency makes Finney-Smith a dream for any team looking to maximize its offensive output without needing to rely on a high usage player. He doesn't need a lot of touches to make a big impact. That's rare in today's game, where so many players need the ball in their hands to be effective. Finney-Smith, he's out there capitalizing on the opportunities that come his way and doing it better than the vast majority of players in the league. And let's not forget how this efficiency translates to his role in the Lakers' offense. When you have guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis drawing so much defensive attention, someone like Finney-Smith becomes even more valuable. His ability to space the floor with his shooting means defenders can't leave him open. That creates more room for LeBron to operate and more chances for AD to dominate inside. His scoring numbers are a testament to his consistency and his basketball IQ. He knows where to be on the floor, when to shoot, and when to pass. That's why his advanced metrics are so impressive. It's not just about putting up points. It's about doing it efficiently and within the flow of the game. Players like Finney-Smith don't always get the recognition they deserve, but their value is undeniable when you dive into the numbers. Even his free throw attempts, while modest at 1.2 per game, are part of this efficient package. He doesn't waste opportunities at the line, and every point he adds is crucial for a team looking to contend. It's all about maximizing the value of each possession, and Finney-Smith excels in that area. The way he's shooting this season is a clear reflection of his growth as a player. He's taken his game to another level by focusing on what he does best, knocking down shots, taking smart attempts, and providing consistent scoring. That kind of reliability is invaluable, especially on a team with championship aspirations. When you combine his scoring numbers with his defensive contributions, it's clear why he's such an important piece. His scoring efficiency complements his overall game perfectly, making him one of the most well-rounded role players in the league. Players like this are rare, and the Lakers are lucky to have him. Dorian Finney-Smith's advanced scoring stats this season are a masterclass in efficiency and role optimization. From his points per game to his shooting percentages, everything about his game screams consistency and impact. It's going to be thrilling to see how he continues to excel in his role and elevate his team. And then we can look at his teamwork stats. First off, his offensive rating is 118.3. That's an elite number, especially for someone who plays such a critical role as a secondary scorer and floor spacer. It means that every time he's on the floor, The team's offense is incredibly efficient, better than 79% of players in the league. Now let's talk about his defensive rating, which comes in at 114.1. That's a solid number, especially when paired with his offensive contributions. The combination of his offensive and defensive impact gives him a net rating of plus 4.2. That's a fantastic figure because it means his presence on the court consistently creates a positive margin for his team. In other words, when Dorian's out there, his team has a much better chance of coming out ahead. What's even more impressive is his mixed teamwork metric, which looks at how much he improves the overall team margin compared to other players. His rating here is 79%, meaning he's better at creating positive outcomes than nearly 80% of players in the league. That's a testament to how well he fits within a team structure and enhances everyone around him. Looking deeper, games with a positive plus-minus are a significant indicator of a player's impact. Finney-Smith has had a positive plus-minus in 45% of the games he's played. That's a big deal because it shows how often his presence directly contributes to his team's success. Plus-minus might not always tell the whole story for a single game, but over a season, it's a clear sign of a player's value. Then there's the on-off statistic, which compares how the team performs with a player on the floor versus when they're off. For Finney-Smith, this number is jaw-dropping, plus 8.2. That means his team scores 8.2 more points per 100 possessions when he's on the floor compared to when he's sitting. That's a huge swing and speaks volumes about how important he is to any lineup he's a part of. The key here is how all these numbers connect. Finney-Smith isn't just a scorer or a defender, he's the type of player who elevates everyone around him. His ability to space the floor with his shooting, combined with his defensive versatility, creates a ripple effect that benefits the entire team. And these advanced stats back that up completely. What makes this even more exciting is how seamlessly he fits into a team with stars. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective, but when he does get it, he knows exactly what to do. His offensive rating proves that he's making the most of every opportunity. Whether it's knocking down open shots or moving the ball to the right spot, he's consistently making winning plays. And his net rating? That's the ultimate stat for understanding a player's overall value. A plus 4.2 margin means that over the course of a game, his team is likely coming out on top with him on the floor. That's the kind of impact every team is looking for, especially when building around superstars. The on-off numbers are just the cherry on top. A plus 8.2 differential shows how much better his team performs with him in the game. That's not just about scoring or defense. It's about how he changes the entire dynamic of the lineup. When Finney-Smith is out there, his team becomes more efficient, more balanced, and just flat out better. These numbers also highlight his basketball IQ. Players who consistently post positive, advanced stats like this aren't just physically talented, they're smart. They understand spacing, timing, and positioning. They know how to maximize their strengths while minimizing their weaknesses. Finney-Smith excels in all of these areas, and it shows in every metric. What's even more impressive is how consistent he's been across all these categories. Whether it's offensive efficiency, defensive contributions, or his overall net impact, he's delivering at a high level. That kind of reliability is rare and incredibly valuable, especially for a team with championship aspirations. Dorian Finney-Smith's advanced scoring numbers this season are nothing short of phenomenal. He's efficient, impactful, and the kind of player who makes everyone around him better. When you look at the full picture, it's clear that he's one of the most valuable role players in the league right now. But it doesn't stop there. How about his ball handling numbers? Dorian Finney-Smith's ball handling this season might not grab the headlines, but when you dig into the numbers, it's clear he's been quietly effective. Let's get into it, starting with the basics. His ball handling is ranked better than 53% of players in the league, according to a 3-step metric. While that's not elite, it's solid, especially for someone who plays primarily as a forward. His handle isn't flashy, but it gets the job done, and that's all you really need in his role. Now, let's talk about his assist numbers. Finney-Smith is averaging 1.6 assists per game, which translates to 3.8 points directly assisted each game. That's a nice contribution for a player who isn't running the offense, but still finds opportunities to set up his teammates. His assist percentage, AST percent, sits at 7.58%, which ranks higher than 25% of players. Again, this shows he's not a primary playmaker, but he knows when and how to make the right pass. What's especially impressive is how he protects the ball. Finney-Smith has a turnover percentage, TO percent, of just 8.22%. That's better than 71% of players. It means he's only turning the ball over about once every 100 plays where he concludes the action, whether that's taking a shot or making a pass. Keeping turnovers low is such an underrated skill, especially for a player like him who's often relied on for stability. He's averaging 0.9 turnovers per game, which is remarkably low. Considering he's taking 8.5 scoring attempts per game, his ability to avoid turnovers while staying aggressive is a testament to his composure and decision making. He's the kind of player who won't try to do too much with the ball, and that's exactly what you want when you've got superstars around him. When you combine his assist and turnover numbers, you get a clear picture of his efficiency. Finney-Smith's playmaking isn't about volume. It's about making smart, calculated decisions that keep the offense flowing. He's not the guy you'll see dribbling into traffic or forcing passes, and that's a big reason his turnover percentage is so low. It's all about knowing your role and executing it well, and he excels at that. Another thing that stands out is how his ball handling contributes to his scoring efficiency. By avoiding turnovers and keeping the ball moving, he's able to maximize his own scoring opportunities while helping his teammates. It's a balance that not every player can strike, but Finney-Smith has it down. His ability to handle the ball without making mistakes also allows his teammates to play more freely. When you know the guy next to you isn't going to cough up the ball or make a bad pass, it creates a level of trust that's invaluable on the court. That's part of what makes him such a valuable piece in any lineup. Even though his assist numbers aren't flashy, they show his awareness on the court. He's not just looking to score, he's scanning the floor and making the right read when the opportunity arises. That kind of unselfishness is what makes teams better. It's the little thing, like a timely kick-out pass or a simple drop-off, that keep the offense moving smoothly. His turnover percentage also speaks to his basketball IQ. Avoiding turnovers isn't just about being cautious, it's about understanding when to take risks and when to play it safe. Finney-Smith knows his limits and plays within them, which is a big reason why his efficiency numbers are so strong across the board. When you think about his role on the court, these ball handling numbers make perfect sense. He's not there to break down defenders or create offense from scratch. Instead, he's a connector, someone who keeps the ball moving, makes smart decisions, and takes advantage of opportunities when they come his way. That's a skill set every team needs, and he's one of the best at it. Dorian Finney-Smith's ball handling advanced stats might not jump off the page, but they paint a picture of a player who's dependable, efficient, and perfectly suited for his role. He's the kind of guy who makes the right plays, avoids mistakes, and helps his team succeed in ways that don't always show up in traditional box scores. It's this level of consistency and intelligence that makes him such an asset on the court. But how about the thing we know him for, his defense? Dorian Finney-Smith's defense this season has been a key part of his value, and the advanced numbers really tell the story. Let's start with his mixed team defense metric, which measures how much he prevents opponents from scoring both as a team defender and in individual matchups. He's ranked better than 58% of players in this category. That might not scream elite, but it highlights how dependable he is, night in and night out, at shutting down opposing offenses. Now, his steals and blocks are where his versatility really shines. Finney-Smith is averaging 0.9 steals per game and 0.6 blocks. While those numbers might seem modest, they represent his ability to contribute in multiple ways defensively. He's not just locking down one area of the court, he's active in passing lanes, contesting shots, and making life difficult for whoever he's guarding. His defensive rebounding adds even more to the equation. Finney-Smith is pulling down 3 defensive boards per game, and while that might not lead the league, it's an important part of finishing defensive possessions. Grabbing those rebounds ensures opponents don't get second chance opportunities, and that's a big deal when you're trying to control the flow of the game. The team defensive efficiency metric, where the team allows 114.1 points per 100 possessions, shows the impact of having players like Finney-Smith on the floor. He's a piece of the puzzle that helps the entire defensive unit perform better. While 114.1 isn't a league best number, it reflects how well he contributes to slowing down opposing offenses in a system that relies on team effort. One of the most underrated aspects of Finney-Smith's defensive game is his ability to guard multiple positions. He's not just a wing defender. He can switch on to bigger forwards and even some guards without losing effectiveness. That kind of versatility is so valuable in today's NBA, where teams are constantly looking to exploit mismatches. With Finney-Smith on the floor, those mismatches are much harder to find. His steal and block numbers also highlight his timing and awareness. Steals aren't just about quick hands, they're about anticipating plays, reading the offense, and knowing when to take a calculated risk. Similarly, blocks require great timing and positioning. especially for someone who isn't a traditional rim protector. Finney-Smith's ability to contribute in both areas speaks to his high basketball IQ. What's even more impressive is how he balances his individual and team defense. Some players excel at locking down their man, but struggle to rotate or help in team schemes. Finney-Smith does both. He's able to stick with his assignment while also staying aware of the bigger picture, which makes him such a reliable defender. His defensive rebounding numbers are another testament to his effort and positioning. Defensive rebounds might not be as glamorous as steals or blocks, but they're just as important. Every board he grabs is one less chance for the opposing team to score, and his ability to contribute 3 per game shows his consistency in that area. Finney-Smith's defensive numbers also show just how well he fits into a team's overall strategy. He's not the type of player who's going to dominate the stat sheet with gaudy block or steal totals, but his steady contributions across the board add up in a big way. Whether it's preventing his man from scoring, forcing a tough shot, or grabbing a key rebound, he's making an impact on almost every possession. His mixed team defense ranking of 58% reflects how much his presence helps the entire unit. He's not just out there holding his own, he's actively making his teammates better by communicating, rotating, and providing the kind of effort that sets the tone for everyone else. That's the kind of player every coach wants on their roster. Another thing I love about Finney-Smith's defense is how disciplined he is. He's not out there gambling for steals or chasing blocks at the expense of team principles. Instead, he's focused on staying solid, contesting shots without fouling, and making life as hard as possible for the opposing offense. That level of discipline is a big reason why he's so effective. Dorian Finney-Smith's defensive advanced numbers might not jump off the page like those of a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, but they highlight just how valuable he is. He's versatile, consistent, and always in the right place at the right time. His ability to contribute across so many areas, steals, blocks, rebounding, and overall team defense, makes him a crucial piece for any team looking to lock down opponents. It's the combination of effort, IQ, and versatility that makes his defensive impact so special. And lastly, we can look at his rebounding. Dorian Finney-Smith's rebounding numbers this season tell a fantastic story of his hustle, timing, and ability to make an impact without being the tallest or the flashiest player on the court. He's pulling down an average of 4.6 rebounds per game, which might not seem huge at first glance, but when you break it down, it becomes clear how effective he's been. That number ranks him better than 58% of all players in the NBA, which is impressive given his role and the kind of matchups he faces night in and night out. Starting with his defensive rebounding, Finney-Smith averages 3 rebounds per game on that end. His defensive rebound percentage is 10.75%, meaning he's grabbing over 10% of all available defensive rebounds while he's on the floor. That puts him ahead of 42% of players. While he's not a traditional big man patrolling the paint, his ability to box out, anticipate misses, and secure the ball makes him a valuable asset in closing out defensive possessions. Offensive rebounding, though, is where he really shines. Finney-Smith is averaging 1.6 offensive rebounds per game, and his offensive rebound percentage is an impressive 5.87%. That's better than 73% of players. It's not easy to grab offensive boards, especially as a forward who often starts possessions on the perimeter, yet his knack for crashing the glass and creating second chance opportunities adds a unique dimension to his game. What's particularly exciting about his offensive rebounding is how it impacts the team. Every offensive rebound means another shot at scoring, and Finney-Smith's ability to grab those boards is like giving his team an extra possession. His hustle and timing in these situations are things you can't teach. They come from effort and awareness, and he's got both in spades. Breaking it down further, Finney-Smith's balance between offensive and defensive rebounding is a key part of his value. A lot of players tend to excel in one area or the other, but he contributes on both ends. Whether it's keeping an opponent from getting a second chance on defense or giving his team another shot at a bucket on offense, he's always involved. His rebounding numbers also highlight his versatility. At 6'7", he's often going up against bigger players in the paint, but his athleticism, timing, and positioning allow him to hold his own. He's not just relying on size. He's using his instincts and effort to make an impact. That's something every team needs, especially in today's game where versatility is king. Another thing that stands out is how his rebounding complements his other skills. Finney-Smith isn't just grabbing boards and standing still. He's often making smart plays immediately after securing the ball. On defense, he'll look to initiate fast breaks with outlet passes. On offense, he's great at kicking the ball back out to shooters or going straight up for a putback if the opportunity is there. His rebounding numbers also show just how consistent he's been. Averaging nearly 5 boards a game might not sound like much compared to elite rebounders, but for a forward who splits time on the perimeter, it's incredibly valuable. It shows he's not taking plays off and that he's always looking for ways to contribute, even if it's not in the spotlight. It's also worth noting how his rebounding helps the team's overall efficiency. Securing defensive rebounds limits second chance points for opponents, while grabbing offensive boards adds more scoring opportunities for his own team. These are the kinds of contributions that don't always make the highlight reels, but are critical for winning games. His numbers also speak to his role in the team's overall strategy. He's not the primary rebounder. That role often falls to big men, but he's filling in the gaps and doing so effectively. He's not just a perimeter shooter or a defender. He's someone who can make a difference in multiple areas, and rebounding is one of them. Dorian Finney-Smith's rebounding advanced numbers show a player who understands his role and executes it to perfection. Whether it's battling for position on defense or sneaking in for an offensive rebound, he's making plays that matter. His balance between offensive and defensive boards, his effort, and his consistency make him a key contributor on any team. It's these little things that add up over the course of a game and make him such a valuable player. Overall, though, Dorian Finney-Smith is the kind of player every team wants. He's reliable, versatile, and knows exactly how to play his role without trying to do too much. Whether it's his defense, rebounding, scoring efficiency, or ball handling, he brings a level of consistency that's hard to find. His ability to impact the game in so many ways without dominating the ball makes him invaluable, especially on a team with stars who need complementary pieces around them. Now that he's with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, it feels like the perfect situation for him to thrive. LeBron's court vision and passing will create so many opportunities for Finney-Smith to show off his scoring efficiency, while Davis's presence inside will make his defensive and rebounding contributions even more impactful. Playing alongside two superstars like that also means he won't have to carry too much responsibility, allowing him to focus on what he does best: hustling, defending, and hitting shots when it matters. What makes this move so exciting is how seamlessly he fits into the Lakers system. He's exactly the kind of player who can fill in the gaps, do the little thing, and still make a big impact. His low turnover rate and high basketball IQ mean he'll make the smart plays, and his versatility on both ends of the floor gives the Lakers so much flexibility. Adding Finney-Smith isn't just a solid move, it's the kind of addition that can elevate the entire team. He's already proven how good he is, and now, surrounded by players like LeBron and Davis, the best may still be yet to come. If you guys enjoyed this, I'll be posting every day during this season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.